The sky of Viridia glowed with colors no human had ever seen. Waves of green and purple light moved across the horizon, reflecting off the tall, crystalline towers that stretched into the clouds. The air smelled sharp and fresh, with a hint of metallic energy that hummed softly. In the royal palace, Queen Selena watched from her balcony. She was tall, with silver hair that shimmered like starlight, and eyes that held centuries of knowledge. Her mind was always alert, always searching for threats to her people. She noticed her daughter, Princess Lyra, standing near the council hall. Lyra's long hair moved gently with the soft breeze, and her eyes glowed with quiet excitement. For some reason she smiled, a small, mysterious smile. That smile caught the Queen's attention. "Who is he?" Queen Selena asked aloud, her voice calm but firm. She spoke to no one in particular, yet the words carried across the hall like a challenge. The court fell silent. Lyra looked at her mother with a sparkle in her eyes. "The man I married," she replied softly. Her voice was steady, full of pride. The Queen froze, her heart beating faster than usual. Married? The man she had never seen? The human soldier her daughter had been secretly spending time with? The Queen's mind raced. She had heard whispers about a human, a stranger who had arrived on Viridia unexpectedly, but she had assumed it was just a visitor, nothing more. The princess's calm confidence confused her. To understand, one had to go back to the beginning. On a distant blue planet called Earth, a human soldier named Aaron prepared for a mission. He was lean and strong, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. His people were curious about the universe, and he was trained to explore unknown planets. Today, his mission was simple: transport supplies to a distant research station. But fate had a different plan. Aaron's ship drifted silently through space, the stars stretching like silver threads across the black sky. Suddenly, a burst of energy hit the ship. Alarms blared, and the control panel flashed red. He struggled to stabilize the ship, but it was too late. A swirling wormhole opened ahead, pulling the vessel with unstoppable force. When he opened his eyes again, he was not on Earth. He was above a planet of light and color, with towers that seemed alive, shimmering rivers, and creatures that floated in the air. Aaron's heart raced. He had traveled far, far beyond anything he had ever imagined. His first steps on Viridia were cautious. He moved through streets filled with alien life, careful not to draw attention. Viridians walked gracefully, their forms elegant and strange. Some had long limbs, some had glowing eyes, but all moved with a sense of purpose. Humans would have called it magical, though Aaron knew it was science far beyond his understanding. Then he saw her. Princess Lyra, moving among her people, observing quietly. She noticed him too, her eyes locking on his for a moment. There was no fear in her gaze, only curiosity. Aaron felt a strange pull, as if destiny had led him here. Before he could think further, a sudden alarm rang through the streets. Rogue machines, left over from an old war, activated without warning. They were dangerous, unpredictable. They moved like shadows, aiming at anyone in their path. Aaron's training kicked in. He ran toward a group of people trapped near a collapsing bridge. Using his strength and quick thinking, he lifted debris, guided the civilians to safety, and finally faced the machines. He realized that brute force would not work. He had to understand their patterns, their weaknesses. After tense moments, he managed to disable them, one by one. When the danger ended, he was breathing hard, exhausted, but alive. He looked up to see Princess Lyra standing nearby, watching him with an unreadable expression. "You are brave," she said softly. Her voice was melodic, yet firm. Few would act so quickly. Few would risk themselves for strangers. I didn't have a choice," Aaron replied honestly. He was still cautious, unsure if she trusted him, or if this was a test. "Perhaps," Lyra said, "but bravery is rare, and in this world it is valued more than skill alone." She led him through the palace gates, where he saw wonders that defied his imagination. Crystal halls, walls that seemed alive with moving, colors and machines that floated gracefully, carrying messages and goods. The palace itself felt alive, not just a building, but a center of thought and culture. Over the following days, Aaron learned more about Viridia. The language was difficult, but Lyra patiently taught him. She explained customs, history, and the complex social rules of her people. Aaron listened carefully, absorbing everything. He admired the order, the intelligence, and the beauty of the civilization, but he also felt the weight of being different. Humans were rare on Viridia, and many nobles viewed him with suspicion. He had to prove himself not just by words but by actions. Lyra watched him silently, noting his courage, his patience, and the way he treated others. One day they walked to a balcony overlooking the city. Below, citizens moved with purpose, unaware of the history being shaped above them. Aaron turned to Lyra. "Why do you trust me?" he asked. "Because you see more than danger," she replied. "You see people. You see value in life. That is rare here." Her words struck him. He realized that survival alone was not enough to belong here. To truly matter, he had to understand and protect, not just fight. A week later, a royal council meeting was held. The queen, curious about Aaron, invited him to observe. He sat quietly, listening to debates about defense, trade, and technology. Nobles whispered among themselves, their eyes full of suspicion and doubt. Aaron felt the weight of their judgment. He wanted to show he was more than a human outsider. Suddenly, an alarm echoed through the palace. Sensors detected an unstable energy field in the outer city. Without hesitation, Aaron followed Lyra to the source. Together, they found an ancient energy conduit about to collapse. If it failed, it would flood the city with dangerous power. Aaron acted quickly. Using both human intuition and guidance from Lyra, he stabilized the conduit. Sparks flew and the ground trembled, but the city was safe. The people watching cheered. The nobles who doubted him looked surprised, some even impressed. When the danger passed, Lyra placed a hand on Aaron's arm. "You see, courage is not only about fighting," she said. "It is about knowing what matters and acting without hesitation." Aaron nodded, understanding that she had seen something in him that even he did not fully recognize. Something beyond human skill, something about his character. That evening, Lyra led Aaron to a quiet garden filled with glowing plants. The air was calm, the soft hum of energy soothing. "I have made a choice," she said, looking at him with steady eyes. "A choice that cannot be undone lightly." Aaron felt his heart tighten. He did not know what she meant, yet he trusted her judgment. "I have married you," she continued. "In our way, in a way that is real and binding." Aaron's mind raced. Married? It seemed impossible, sudden, and yet, looking at her, he understood that it was sincere. Her confidence, her eyes, and her words left no room for doubt. The moment was not about ceremony or tradition alone. It was about trust, respect, and recognition of what each of them brought to the other's life. Lyra had seen courage, intelligence, and heart in Aaron, and he had seen wisdom, compassion, and strength in her. Back in the palace, the queen watched from her balcony. She had heard the news, though she had not yet spoken to her daughter directly. She remained silent, her mind racing. How could her daughter marry a human? What did this mean for the future of Viridia? Yet when she saw Lyra's serene smile, the confidence in her posture, she felt a spark of hope. Perhaps this human was not a threat. Perhaps he was something more. Something that could change the future of their people in ways the queen could not yet imagine. As night fell over Viridia, Aaron and Lyra stood together in the garden. The city, below, glittered with life. The stars above mirrored in its crystal towers. Aaron thought of Earth, of the mission that had brought him here, and realized that he had found something greater than he had ever known. A new chapter had begun, one of courage, unity, and unexpected alliances. One that would challenge not just the limits of human understanding, but the very heart of Viridia itself. And somewhere in the quiet of the palace, the queen asked once again, softly but with curiosity, "Who is he?" Lyra smiled, the answer clear in her eyes. "The man I married." The mystery had begun, but the journey was only starting. Aaron awoke early the next morning, sunlight spilling through the translucent walls of the guest chamber in the palace. The soft hum of energy flowing through Viridia made the room feel alive. He stretched and walked to the window, looking down at the city below. People moved with precision, guided by invisible patterns of energy. He had never seen such harmony before. Princess Lyra appeared at the doorway, carrying a small tray of food. "Good morning," she said, her smile calm and warm. "You slept well?" "I did," Aaron replied. "This place, it is incredible. Everything feels alive." "That is Viridia," she said simply. "It is not just a planet. It is a living network. Every tower, every street, every machine is connected. It responds to thought and action." Aaron nodded, feeling a mixture of awe and caution. He was far from home, surrounded by people who had lived in this world for thousands of years. Yet he did not feel afraid when he was near Lyra. There was a calm strength in her presence that made him trust her. After breakfast, Lyra led him through the palace to a training hall. She wanted to teach him how to move safely in this world, how to interact with the city and its people. The hall was vast, filled with floating platforms, energy barriers, and holographic projections. "Today you learn more than fighting," Lyra explained. "You learn observation, understanding, and control. These are the skills that will keep you alive here." Aaron followed her instructions carefully. He practiced moving on the floating platforms, balancing energy flows and interacting with the holograms. At first he stumbled, unsure of how the energy responded to him. But Lyra's guidance was patient. She explained every detail, correcting his movements without criticism. "You have good instincts," she said. "You notice patterns quickly, but you must learn patience. Strength alone is not enough here." Aaron listened carefully, realizing that this world required more than courage. It demanded thought, planning, and respect for life in all its forms. He admired Lyra for her wisdom and her ability to teach without making him feel inferior. Later, as they walked through the palace gardens, Aaron noticed something that surprised him. The plants responded to his presence. Flowers turned toward him, vines shifted gently, and the air around him seemed lighter. Lyra noticed his wonder. "Viridia welcomes those who act with respect," she explained. "You have done well even without knowing it. That is why the city responds to you." Aaron felt a swell of pride but also a deep sense of responsibility. This was not Earth where a human could act alone. Here every action had consequences, and the world itself seemed alive, observing every choice. As days passed, Aaron and Lyra grew closer. They trained together, explored the palace, and visited the city. Lyra introduced him to citizens who watched him carefully. Some were suspicious, some curious, and some openly admired his courage during the previous crisis. Aaron tried to greet everyone respectfully, bowing in the manner of Viridia and speaking the few words of their language he had learned. One afternoon, while visiting a market in the lower city, a small crowd gathered. A malfunctioning service droid had begun scattering supplies, creating chaos. Without hesitation, Aaron acted. He analyzed the droid's movements and predicted its next actions. Carefully, he guided it into a containment field, stopping the chaos. The people watched in awe. Whispers spread through the market. "He is skilled," they said. "Not only human, but clever and fast." Lyra smiled quietly, knowing that Iran was earning respect not through words, but through action. That evening, Lyra took Iran to the palace library. It was enormous, filled with holographic scrolls and crystal data disks. Knowledge from thousands of years of Viridia's history filled the room. "You must understand our history," Lyra said. "It is not enough to act bravely. You must know why we act, what we value, and what we protect. That is how you will truly belong here." Aaron spent hours studying. He learned about Viridia's wars, their victories, and their failures. He discovered their values: life, unity, courage, and respect for knowledge. Every lesson made him more determined to prove himself worthy of Lyra's trust. One night, as the stars of Viridia shimmered above, Lyra and Aaron sat on a balcony overlooking the city. The air was cool, carrying the faint hum of energy that flowed through every tower. "You are different from anyone I have known," Lyra said softly. "Not just because you are human, but because you see the world clearly." You do not rush, you do not fear, and you do not take life lightly. Aaron felt his heart tighten. I only try to do what is right, he said. I want to help, not just survive. That is why I trust you, she replied. Most humans I have studied act without care. You act with thought. You act with heart. That is rare. As days turned into weeks, Aaron faced challenges that tested his character. A rival noble, jealous of the princess's attention, spread rumors about him. Another time, he discovered a hidden energy leak that threatened a district of the city. Each time, Aaron acted calmly, using both human ingenuity and the lessons Lyra taught him. The people began to notice. Citizens who once viewed him with suspicion started to smile when they saw him. Some even bowed respectfully. The nobles could not ignore his deeds, though some remained wary. Lyra watched quietly, proud of Aaron's ability to earn respect without seeking it. One morning, an urgent message arrived from the palace council. A minor machine uprising had started in the eastern sector of the city. Aaron and Lyra rushed to the site. The machines were fast, moving unpredictably, but Aaron quickly assessed the situation. Lyra, cover the citizens, he said. I will handle the machines. She nodded, guiding the people to safety. Aaron moved with precision, disabling machines one by one. His human instincts combined with his knowledge of Viridia's energy systems made him a formidable problem solver. When the last machine fell, the citizens cheered. Lyra joined him, her eyes shining with admiration. You are more than brave, she said. You are a protector. That is why I chose you. Aaron looked at her, confused. Chose me? Yes, Lyra replied. I married you in our way. You are not just a visitor. You are part of this world now, and I trust you with my life and the lives of our people. The words struck him deeply. He had come to Viridia as a stranger, uncertain of his place. Now he was part of something greater, bound not by ceremony alone but by mutual respect and trust. Over the following days, they continued to train and explore. Aaron learned more about Viridia's advanced technology and its delicate balance with nature. Lyra taught him about diplomacy, showing him how words could sometimes save more lives than any weapon. At night, they often walked the palace gardens. The glowing plants seemed to respond to their presence, and the air carried a calm energy. Aaron began to feel at home, not because he had conquered challenges, but because he had earned trust and formed a connection. One evening, as they rested near a glowing pond, Lyra spoke softly. Aaron, you have done more than survive here. You have become part of Viridia. The city itself has accepted you and the people admire you. That is rare for a human. Aaron smiled, feeling a sense of pride and humility. I only do what I think is right. You have guided me. Without you, I would be lost. You have guided yourself, Lyra replied. I only showed you the way. You acted with courage and heart. That is what matters. The bond between them grew stronger, based not on obligation, but on mutual respect and understanding. They shared victories and challenges, laughter and quiet moments. Each day, Aaron felt more certain that he belonged in this world, not just as a visitor, but as a partner to the princess. One morning, Queen Solina summoned Lyra to her chambers. The princess left Aaron with a promise. I will return soon. In the grand hall, the queen looked at Lyra with curiosity. Who is he? She asked, her tone calm but probing. He is the man I married, Lyra replied, her voice steady and proud. She did not explain further, leaving the queen to consider the depth of her daughter's words. The queen's eyes narrowed slightly, but she did not speak. She had seen enough to know that this human was extraordinary. He had courage, intelligence, and the ability to act with honor in a world that was alien to him. Perhaps he was not a threat, but a bridge between their people. When Lyra returned to Aaron, she smiled. He knows now, she said softly. The queen understands your value, though she does not fully say it yet. Aaron felt a surge of relief. He had worried about the queen's approval, but now he realized that actions spoke louder than words. Every choice he made, every life he saved was a statement of his worth. Together they walked through the palace gardens as night fell. The city below shimmered with light, and the stars above reflected in the crystalline towers. Aaron felt a sense of peace. He had come to a strange world, faced challenges beyond imagination, and yet found trust, connection, and a purpose greater than himself. The journey was just beginning. There would be challenges, rivalries, and dangers ahead, but Aaron no longer feared them. With Lyra by his side, he was ready to face whatever Viridia would throw at him. And in that moment, under the glowing sky, Aaron understood something profound. Courage, trust, and heart could transcend worlds, and a bond formed through respect and understanding could change the future of a civilization. The city of Viridia woke to a bright morning, its towers gleaming like crystal in the sunlight. The people moved with precision and purpose, unaware that danger was quietly brewing in the shadows. Aaron had grown used to the rhythm of this world, but he knew that appearances could be deceptive. Princess Lyra and Aaron walked through the palace corridors, discussing the city's energy grid. The palace was alive with activity, servants and advisors moving swiftly, yet there was a tense undercurrent in the air. Some of the nobles still whispered about the human who had married the princess. "They do not trust me," Aaron said softly. "I try to help, but they only see that I'm different." Lyra placed her hand on his arm. "Difference is often feared," she said, "but you have shown bravery and wisdom. That will speak louder than their words. Be patient." Patience was tested sooner than expected. A message arrived at the palace council, carried by a swift hovering drone. A rival faction of nobles had begun plotting against Aaron. They claimed that a human could never understand Viridia, and that his presence threatened the throne. Some even suggested that Lyra's choice could destabilize the city. Queen Selena read the report carefully, her expression unreadable. She had always trusted her daughter's judgment, but she understood the weight of political power. Aaron's actions had earned respect among the people, but the nobles' resentment could grow into danger. Later that day, Aaron and Lyra visited a district near the outer city. The air was warm, filled with the sense of exotic plants and energy flowing through the streets. Citizens greeted them with curiosity, some bowing respectfully to Aaron, others still skeptical. Suddenly, alarms rang across the district. A group of rogue machines, remnants of an old war, had activated in the market. They moved with precision and aggression, scattering goods and endangering the people. Aaron sprang into action. He analyzed their patterns quickly, predicting their movements. Lyra guided the citizens to safety, using her energy manipulation to create protective barriers. Together they moved with efficiency, neutralizing the threat without harming the machines unnecessarily. When the danger was over, the citizens cheered. Aaron wiped sweat from his brow and looked at Lyra. "It never stops," he said, exhaustion in his voice. "Challenges are constant here," Lyra replied calmly. "But how you respond is what defines you." News of Iran's bravery spread quickly. Citizens who had doubted him now praised his actions. Even some skeptical nobles began to see his worth. Still, others remained determined to challenge him. That evening, the queen called Lyra to her chambers. Aaron waited outside, unsure of what would happen next. Lyra returned after an hour, her expression calm but serious. "They are watching," she said. "Some nobles want to test you, to see if you are truly worthy of being here. They will try to find faults, but I know your heart." Aaron nodded, feeling a mixture of anxiety and determination. He understood that trust had to be earned continually, not just through actions in the streets, but also in the eyes of those who held power. A few days later, a council meeting was held. The queen invited Aaron to attend, observing him closely. The nobles presented challenges, questioning his knowledge of Viridia, his loyalty, and his understanding of their customs. Aaron listened carefully, answering with honesty and respect. "I may be human," he said, "but I am here to serve Viridia. I will learn, adapt, and protect this world. I do not seek power, only understanding and partnership." The room fell silent. Some nobles muttered in surprise, impressed by his sincerity. Others frowned, unconvinced. The queen watched quietly, noting his calm demeanor and ability to face scrutiny without anger or fear. Days later, another crisis arose. A malfunction in the energy conduits threatened the Western District. If left unchecked, the damage could destroy homes and disrupt the city's delicate balance. Aaron and Lyra rushed to the site. The conduits pulsed with unstable energy, sparks flying dangerously. Aaron studied the machinery carefully, noticing patterns in the surges. Using both human intuition and the lessons Lyra had taught him, he devised a plan to stabilize the energy flow. "Lyra, keep the citizens back," he said. "I will manage the conduits." She nodded, her calm presence giving him confidence. With precise movements, Aaron manipulated the energy fields, redirecting surges and neutralizing unstable currents. The work was exhausting, but he focused on the task, refusing to let fear interfere. Finally, the conduit stabilized. The district was safe. Citizens and workers cheered, and even the skeptical nobles began to nod in approval. Lyra joined Aaron, smiling quietly. "You are not just brave," she said. "You are wise and capable. That is why I chose you." Aaron felt a surge of pride and gratitude. He had come to Viridia as a stranger, but he was becoming part of something greater. The people's trust, Lyra's confidence, and his own growing understanding gave him purpose beyond anything he had known on Earth. That night, Aaron and Lyra walked through the palace gardens. The glowing plants swayed gently, responding to their movements. The hum of energy in the air was soothing, a reminder that this world was alive and aware. "Aaron," Lyra said softly, "I see the question in your mind. You wonder if you belong here. You do. You belong because you act with heart and courage. Not because you are human, but because you understand life and responsibility." Aaron looked at her, moved by her words. "I never thought I would find a place like this," he admitted. "A home in a world so different from my own." "Home is not just a place," Lyra replied. "It is where trust, respect, and connection exist. That is what you have found here." Over the next weeks, Aaron continued to prove himself. He assisted with city planning, worked on improving energy distribution, and trained with Lyra in both strategy and diplomacy. His actions spoke louder than words, earning him allies among citizens and even some nobles. Yet danger still lurked. One evening, a rival faction attempted an ambush. They had planted small but powerful machines near the palace gates. Aaron and Lyra discovered them in time, disarming the devices before they could cause harm. "This is becoming frequent," Aaron said. "They are testing me constantly." "They are," Lyra replied. "But each challenge makes you stronger, not just in skill but in trust. The more they see your heart, the more they will respect you." Aaron nodded, realizing that this was true. His actions, guided by his human instincts and Lyra's wisdom, were building bridges in a world that had initially viewed him with suspicion. One morning, the queen summoned both Aaron and Lyra to the palace balcony. The city stretched below them, vibrant and alive. Citizens moved like flowing patterns, unaware of the political tensions at the highest levels. "Aaron," Queen Selena said, her voice calm but commanding, "you have faced scrutiny, danger, and suspicion. You have acted with courage and wisdom. Why do you remain here among us?" Aaron took a deep breath. "I remain because I have found purpose. I have found people who trust me, and I have found someone I respect and admire. I am here to protect, to learn, and to serve Viridia in any way I can." The queen studied him carefully. She had seen many humans in her lifetime, but none had displayed this combination of courage, intellect, and heart. She finally nodded slightly. "Very well," she said. "You have proven yourself worthy not just to my daughter, but to Viridia. But understand this. Loyalty is tested not once, but many times. Your actions will always matter." Aaron bowed respectfully. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will not fail." Lyra smiled proudly, placing her hand on his arm. "See? They are beginning to trust you, not just the citizens, but those who guide the city. That is a step forward." The following weeks brought both calm and challenges. Aaron continued to work alongside Lyra, assisting in projects that strengthened the city. Citizens began to recognize him not just as a human, but as a protector and ally. The city itself seemed to respond to him. Energy flows stabilizing more easily, plants and structures moving subtly in acknowledgement of his presence. Aaron and Lyra's bond grew stronger with each day. They shared quiet moments in the gardens, discussed strategies for the city, and trained together in both combat and diplomacy. Trust was no longer just a word. It had become a foundation for their partnership. One evening, as the twin moons of Viridia rose in the sky, casting silver light across the city, Aaron reflected on the journey so far. He had come as a stranger, faced danger, and learned to navigate a world beyond imagination. Yet he had also discovered connection, purpose, and trust that transcended species. And he knew that the challenges ahead would be greater. Rival factions would not give up easily. Threats would continue to rise, testing both his skill and his loyalty. But with Lyra by his side, and with the trust of the people growing, he felt ready to face anything. The city slept peacefully below, unaware that its fate rested not just in the hands of its own citizens, but also in the courage and heart of a human who had chosen to belong. Aaron turned to Lyra, feeling the weight and joy of what they had built together. "Whatever comes next," he said softly, "we face it together." Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting the silver light of the moons. "Together," she agreed. "Always." The future of Viridia was uncertain, but one thing was clear: trust, courage, and loyalty could unite even the most unlikely allies. And a human had become a hero in a world that had never known one. The city of Viridia was alive with energy as dawn broke over the towers. Light reflected off the crystal buildings, casting patterns across the streets below. Citizens moved with purpose, and the soft hum of power filled the air. Aaron had become part of this world. The humans who had once seemed distant and fragile to the Viridians were now represented in him. And every day, he worked to prove that humanity could be trusted and respected. Princess Lyra waited for him at the palace gates. "Today we attend the council," she said. "The nobles will formally evaluate you. This is not just about courage. It is about insight, understanding, and respect for our ways." Aaron nodded. He had faced many challenges, yet this felt different. This was a test of perception, not strength. He wanted not only to survive, but to gain respect through wisdom and careful thought. The council chamber was enormous, with high ceilings that reflected the city's energy. Holographic displays floated above the floor, showing maps of the city, energy flows, and population centers. Nobles and advisors filled the room, their eyes following every movement Aaron made. Some whispered among themselves, doubting the human's ability to comprehend their world. Others watched quietly, curious about how he would respond. Queen Selena sat at the center, observing her daughter and Aaron carefully. She had seen his actions and bravery, but this was the first time she would witness how he handled diplomacy, strategy, and thought under pressure. "Aaron," the queen said, her voice calm but firm, "you have shown courage and intelligence in small matters. Now we present a challenge that affects the entire city. We want to see your insight and judgment." A noble stepped forward, pointing to a holographic display. "The outer districts are experiencing unstable energy surges. If left unchecked, these surges could disrupt the city's power grid and endanger citizens. How would you respond?" Aaron studied the display carefully. The surges moved in patterns not random but irregular enough to cause concern. He noticed areas where the energy was unstable and others where the flow was smooth. "I would first stabilize the districts with temporary energy barriers," Aaron explained. "Then I would analyze the surges to identify the cause. Once understood, I would adjust the conduits and redistribute energy to prevent future instability." He paused, ensuring his words conveyed both action and understanding. "I would also involve local engineers and citizens, sharing knowledge so the city itself becomes resilient. Safety is not only about quick action, but about teaching the system to maintain balance." The chamber fell silent. The nobles whispered among themselves, impressed by his reasoning. Even the most skeptical raised their heads, realizing this human was not only capable but thoughtful. Lyra placed a hand on his arm, giving him quiet reassurance. Queen Selena's expression remained unreadable, but there was a glint of approval in her eyes. After the council, Aaron and Lyra returned to the palace gardens. He felt a mixture of relief and pride. "Do you think they are convinced?" he asked. "Some are," Lyra replied. "Others will take longer. Respect is earned over time, through repeated action and consistent judgment. Today you have taken a significant step." As they walked through the gardens, a messenger arrived. A nearby district had reported unusual activity. Machines previously dormant were activating without warning. This time the threat was larger, affecting an entire sector of the city. Aaron's instincts kicked in immediately. "We need to act fast," he said. Lyra nodded, and together they moved to the site. The district was tense. Citizens evacuated as the machines moved in coordinated patterns, more aggressive than before. The streets were filled with sparks and energy surges. Aaron studied the machines quickly, observing their patterns and vulnerabilities. "Lyra, guide the citizens back," Aaron said. "I will focus on the machines." She moved gracefully, creating protective energy shields that kept the people safe. Aaron analyzed the machines, predicting their movements and disabling them one by one. The process was exhausting, but he worked with precision and focus. Finally, the last machine fell. The district was safe and the citizens cheered. Some came forward to thank Aaron personally, expressing admiration for his bravery and intelligence. Lyra watched silently, proud of the human who had become her partner and protector. Back at the palace, Queen Selena observed from her balcony. She had watched Aaron in action, saving citizens, analyzing threats and thinking clearly under pressure. She had expected courage, but she had not anticipated his ability to understand, adapt, and lead. That evening, Lyra brought Aaron to a quiet chamber filled with holographic star maps. "You have proven yourself not only in action but in thought," she said. "The people respect you, the nobles are beginning to acknowledge you, and even the queen. She sees your worth." Aaron looked at the maps, his mind reflecting on the journey that had brought him here. He had arrived as a stranger, faced danger, and learned a new way of life. Yet he had also discovered connection, trust, and respect. "I never imagined I could belong here," he admitted. "But now I feel part of something greater than myself." Lyra smiled. "That is because you have acted with heart and mind. Viridia rewards courage, but it honors understanding. You have both." The following days brought further challenges. A rival noble attempted to undermine Aaron by presenting a flawed energy plan during the council. He claimed that human methods could not succeed in Viridia. Aaron carefully reviewed the proposal, identified errors, and suggested improvements that combined human reasoning with Viridian technology. The council members were impressed. The noble who had tried to discredit him had to acknowledge Aaron's insight. Even those still skeptical began to see that his presence could be beneficial, not disruptive. Aaron and Lyra continued to train together. They practiced energy manipulation, strategy, and diplomacy. Lyra taught him how to anticipate threats, not only from machines but from politics and rivalry. Aaron absorbed everything, determined to be a worthy partner and protector. One night, the palace sent word of a potential citywide threat. A rogue energy node had begun destabilizing multiple districts, causing surges that could cascade across the city. Aaron and Lyra moved quickly, coordinating with engineers and citizens. Aaron analyzed the node, studying its patterns and energy flows. He realized it was not simply malfunctioning. It had been tampered with, likely by the rival faction seeking to test him. Without hesitation, he devised a plan. "Lyra, we split our teams," he said. "You take the outer districts. I will handle the node directly. We communicate constantly and adapt as needed." The operation began. Lyra's team guided citizens to safety while maintaining energy barriers. Aaron worked on the node, carefully adjusting conduits, neutralizing tampered circuits, and stabilizing energy flows. The challenge was immense, but his focus and understanding guided him. Hours passed, and finally the citywide surges ended. The districts were safe, the energy stabilized, and the citizens celebrated. Aaron and Lyra stood together, exhausted but proud. Queen Selena approached, her expression calm but approving. "Aaron," she said, "you have faced not only danger but political tests, strategy challenges, and citywide threats. You have proven yourself worthy of respect, not just from your allies but from all of Viridia. You are a protector and a partner, not an outsider." Aaron bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only wish to serve and protect this world. It has become my home, and Lyra is my guide and partner in every way." The queen nodded, finally allowing a small smile. "Then let it be known. You are recognized not only by your actions but by your character. Viridia respects you." Lyra joined them, placing a hand on Aaron's arm. "See, respect is not given lightly. It is earned. And today you have earned it fully." The city below shimmered in the evening light, alive and vibrant. Citizens celebrated not only safety, but the unity and cooperation that Iran had helped foster. The human who had arrived as a stranger had become a symbol of courage, wisdom, and the possibility of connection between worlds. As the twin moons rose over the horizon, Aaron and Lyra walked through the palace gardens. The glowing plants swayed gently, reflecting the city's energy. They had faced threats, tests, and challenges together, and their bond had grown stronger with each day. "Do you think the city will ever fully accept me?" Aaron asked softly. "They already have," Lyra replied. "The city, the people, and even those who doubted you now see your worth. What comes next will only strengthen that trust. You have proven that courage, wisdom, and heart can overcome any obstacle." Aaron felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had not only survived in a strange world, but had also become part of its story. His actions, guided by respect and understanding, had earned recognition from those who once doubted him. and he knew that greater challenges would come. Viridia was a living, breathing world full of beauty, danger, and mystery, but with Lyra by his side and the respect of the people behind him, he felt ready to face anything. The sun rose slowly over the shining towers of Viridia. The city was calm for the first time in weeks. The great energy grids hummed smoothly, the markets reopened, and people walked through the streets with relief and hope. Aaron stood at the edge of the royal balcony, watching the morning light spread across the city he had helped save. For the first time since he had arrived on this alien world, he felt peace. He had earned trust, faced danger, and stood beside Princess Lyra in every trial. What had begun as survival had grown into something much deeper. He was no longer a visitor or a guest. He had become a part of Viridia itself. Lyra joined him, wearing her ceremonial robe. Her silver hair caught the sunlight as she smiled. "The city is preparing for the gathering," she said. "The Queen has called for an open council. Everyone will attend. This will be the day you are recognized." Aaron nodded quietly. He did not seek glory, but he understood the meaning of this day. For Viridia, it was a celebration of peace and unity. For him, it was the final step to prove that humanity could stand equal beside alien strength and wisdom. When the council assembled, the great hall glowed with soft light. Nobles, advisors, soldiers, and citizens filled the space. The Queen sat on her high seat, calm and regal, her expression unreadable. Lyra stood beside her mother, proud and confident. Aaron stood near the steps of the throne, dressed in formal Viridian attire. The Queen raised her hand. The hall fell silent. "Citizens of Viridia," she began, her voice echoing across the chamber. "Today we gather not for judgment, but for acknowledgement. A man from another world arrived among us, unexpected and uninvited. Yet through his courage and his heart, he has changed our world." She turned to Aaron. "You faced danger when others hesitated. You stood with my daughter when enemies threatened the peace. You used your knowledge not to gain power, but to protect life. For that, Viridia owes you respect." A murmur spread through the hall. Many of the nobles who had once doubted him now bowed their heads slightly. Soldiers nodded, remembering the battles he had fought. Citizens whispered his name with admiration. The Queen continued, "You have proven that courage is not limited to any one people. You have shown that humanity holds strength not only in weapons but in heart and understanding. You have given Viridia a new friend and a new future." Then she turned to Lyra. "My daughter, you have chosen your own path, one of courage and conviction. You saw in this man something that we did not. Tell us now, who is he to you?" The hall fell silent again. Every eye turned to Lyra. She looked at her mother, then at Aaron. Her voice was calm but full of pride. "He is the man I married. He is not only my partner but also the one who fought beside me, who taught us that strength lies in unity. He is not of Viridia by birth, but by choice and by heart he belongs to us." The hall erupted in applause. It was not forced or hesitant. It was real. People stood and cheered, shouting Aaron's name and celebrating the new bond between two worlds. Aaron felt his chest tighten with emotion. He bowed deeply to the Queen, then to the people. When the noise faded, the Queen spoke again. "Then let it be known to all that Aaron of Earth shall be recognized as protector of Viridia. His wisdom and courage shall be honored for generations. His union with the princess marks the beginning of a new age between our worlds." She rose from her seat and extended her hand to him. Aaron stepped forward and knelt, placing his hand over his heart. The Queen smiled slightly and said, "Rise, Aaron of Viridia." The hall glowed brighter. The people cheered once more. For the first time, Aaron felt completely accepted. Not as an outsider, not as a guest, but as one of them. After the ceremony, the city held a grand celebration. Lights covered the streets and music filled the air. Food from every province was shared, and banners displaying symbols of both Earth and Viridia hung side by side. The people danced and laughed, no longer divided by race or origin. Aaron and Lyra walked among them, greeted by smiles and laughter. Children ran forward, waving small flags with both Earth and Viridian emblems. One child tugged at Aaron's sleeve and said shyly, "You are the hero who saved us." Aaron smiled and knelt. "No hero stands alone," he said kindly. "We all save each other." The boy grinned and ran back to his family. Lyra watched with quiet affection. "You have given the people hope," she said. "Before you came, they saw humans as distant. Now they see a friend." As evening fell, a great feast was held in the palace courtyard. Lanterns floated in the sky like small stars, lighting the city in warm colors. Music from both human and Viridian instruments blended beautifully, creating a rhythm that spoke of unity. Aaron stood with the Queen once more. "Your Majesty," he said respectfully, "thank you for trusting me." Queen Selena looked at him with calm eyes. "Trust is earned, not given," she replied. "You earned it through courage and wisdom. My daughter has chosen well. You remind us that strength comes not only from power but from compassion." Aaron bowed again. "It is an honor to serve beside Lyra and to protect this world." The Queen nodded. "Then protect it well. Viridia has faced many storms, but with both human and Viridian hearts united, our future will be brighter." Later that night, Lyra and Aaron stood together on the balcony overlooking the glowing city. The moon shone above, their light reflecting across the crystal towers. "Do you ever miss Earth?" Lyra asked softly. Aaron thought for a moment. "Sometimes," he said. "I remember the oceans, the forests, and the open skies. But when I look at this world, at what we have built together, I feel that I am home." Lyra smiled. "Then this world will always be your home. You have given it new life." A gentle breeze passed over them, carrying the sound of celebration from below. Aaron looked out across the horizon. The stars stretched endlessly, reminding him how vast the universe was and how small one life could seem. Yet in that moment he felt that a single choice, a single act of courage could change more than a life. It could change worlds. Days turned into weeks, and peace continued to grow. The alliance between humans and Viridians became stronger. Trade routes opened, scientists exchanged ideas, and soldiers trained together. Aaron worked with engineers to improve energy systems, combining human creativity with Viridian technology. Lyra led diplomatic missions, teaching both sides to listen and understand each other. Together they built something lasting, a bridge between species that had once known only distance and difference. The people came to love their princess and her human husband. Stories spread across both planets about their courage, kindness, and unity. Children learned their tale as a lesson that trust and respect could overcome even the widest divides. One evening, as they walked through the gardens, Aaron stopped beside the central fountain. "When I first arrived here," he said, "I was lost. I thought this world would never accept me. But you believed in me when no one else did." Lyra took his hand gently. "Belief grows when two hearts share the same purpose. You gave me courage too. You showed me that leadership is not only about power, but about understanding." They stood together as the water reflected the starlight. The peace they had built was fragile, but it was real. Aaron knew there would always be challenges. But now he also knew they would face them together, and that thought filled him with strength. The next morning, the Queen called for a small private meeting. Lyra and Aaron stood before her once again. "You have both done what few thought possible," she said. "You brought peace where there was doubt. You joined hearts that were divided by distance and fear. From this day onward, Viridia and Earth shall be allies under your care." Lyra bowed deeply. "We will protect that promise." Aaron placed his hand over his heart. "Together we will keep the peace." The Queen smiled, a rare and genuine smile. "Then go, my children. The future belongs to those who dare to trust." As they left the throne room, Lyra glanced at Aaron and said softly, "Do you remember when my mother asked, 'Who is he?'" Aaron laughed quietly. "I remember every word," she smiled again. "Now she knows. Everyone knows." They stepped out into the sunlight, hand in hand, as the people cheered below. The sound echoed through the palace, across the city, and into the open skies. Humanity and Viridia had become one in purpose and spirit. And so, on that day, under the twin moons and the rising sun, Aaron and Lyra stood together not just as lovers, but as symbols of unity and courage. The man who once fell from the stars had found his home, and the princess who once followed tradition had changed the destiny of her world. Their story became a legend told for generations, a tale of courage, compassion, and the power of two hearts that dared to trust beyond worlds.